Hello and welcome to another GCSE revision video, and in this video we're going to be looking at bar charts. A bar chart is a way of graphically representing the relative frequencies of each category and where the height of the bar represents the frequency, so that we can see at a glance how the frequencies compare to each other. When drawing a bar chart, make sure the bars are clearly separated. Ideally, they should be evenly spaced. Again, ideally, all the bars should be the same width. If you don't keep your bars the same width, and if they're not evenly spread out, the bar chart might end up looking like and being confused with a histogram. Your categories should be clearly labelled. The numbers representing the frequency should be evenly spaced. What you don't want is to run out of space towards the top or the edge and have to cram the numbers closer together so that your bars don't accurately reflect the difference in frequency. Remember to put a title on your bar chart, but make sure that that title is descriptive. Something like "My bar chart" isn't really helpful. Make sure the title of the bar chart actually conveys some useful information. Your bar chart should also have a key explaining what the bars represent. The more complicated your chart becomes, the more important the key becomes. And those of you with sharp eyes might notice that some of these bars are actually touching each other when I said they need to be clearly spaced. In this case, because we've got subcategories, the subcategories are all lumped together as a category. There is still an even space between the categories. And lastly, you're not forced to have the frequency going up and the categories going across. You are free to orient your chart however you like, just so long as it's easy to read. Okay, well, so much for the theory. Let's have a go at putting this into practice. These are the colours of the cars that went past my window between 9 AM and 10 AM. Not really, this is purely hypothetical. Red, green, red, red, green, blue, blue, white, green, green, yellow, red, yellow, white, blue, black, black, white, blue, green, white. And I've taken the liberty of already drawing up a tally chart and a rudimentary frequency table. Okay, so the first thing I want to think about is my orientation. Do I want my chart to have the frequencies going up and down, or do I want them going left to right? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories, and the frequency goes up to 5, and I've got more space going across than I have going up. So I think I'd like it in the form of like a column bar chart rather than a row bar chart. So I will have it looking something, that I cannot draw a straight line. That is a terrible straight line. So I think I'm going to have it looking something like this. Terrible drawing, I know, but that's not going to be the finished product. So in other words, I'm going to have my categories going across, and I'm going to have my frequency coming up. Now, that being decided, what I need to know is my spacing. How much space have I got? Now, if I was working with paper, I would actually measure how much space I've got with a ruler, and then I would divide the space I've got here by the number of increments I'm going to need. So in this case, if I want this to go from 0 to 5, so I want 0, 1, and so on, up to 5, I'll have 6 increments. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 increments. So I'll take the distance that I've got and divide it by 6, and that should give me the space here between the increments, and then I can mark them off by measuring them with a ruler. Same with the x-axis. What I'm going to want to do is figure out how many categories I've got. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then try to figure out how much space I'm going to need per category. So I'll divide the distance I've got here by the number of categories, which is 6, and that will give me the distance for the combined width of the bar and the space between the bars. And I'll probably want twice as much space between the bars as the width of the bars, so I'll probably want to divide that figure into the ratio of 2 to 1. So then I'll have something looking vaguely like this. Obviously I'm cheating, I did this beforehand. I don't want to subject you to watching me do all the laborious bits. I'm just giving you the important stuff. So now I want to draw in my bars. So what I want to do is take the height and measure where the bar's going to come to. And then I can draw my bar to that height. And then I'll take my next height, so the green goes up to 5, so I want to measure from the 5. And the height of my green bar is going to be 5, making sure I've got space between them and keeping my bars the width that I calculated that they should be. I can't do that very easily on Paint, so again, here's one I prepared earlier. So now I've got my bars nice and evenly spaced and roughly the same width, and the height represents the frequency. Now all my bar chart needs is a title, so all I have to do is think of a descriptive title. So perhaps number of cars by colour or something along those lines. So I'll just write the title in. And lastly, all I need is a key. In this case, the key is extremely mundane because it's a very simple chart, so I might type something like number. And assign it the colour of the chart, so just going to grab a square. Something like that. And if I want to, I can make the chart a bit easier to read by drawing faint lines across so it's easy to see. In fact, if I'd done that first, it would have been even easier to draw the height of the charts. So I might want to do something like that. And so on. And there we have it, a bar chart. This is just the tidied up version of what you've seen me create. But the things to remember with the bar chart is that we need the bars to be roughly evenly spaced, to be roughly the same width. The height of the bar represents the frequency. Don't forget your title and your key, and that's basically all there is to it. Why don't you have a practice making up some raw data for yourself, turning it into a tally chart and a frequency table, and then converting that into a bar chart? And I'd like to wish you all the best with your revision and all the best with your exams, and I'll see you in another video.